Leo, this is your week ahead astrology forecast from March 10th through March 17th from Astrology Motivation by Born Without Boundaries. This is for Leo suns. If you're really, really clever and really, really into astrology, then I will be telling you the angles that the sun is experiencing. So if you want to superimpose your ascendant or your moon into those angles, you know your ascendant or moon is at that same angle, that's fine, but it's not going to have the same impact. It's not going to translate to the same energy or play out in the same way. So you would have to be able to spin all those different wheels, just an FYI. This is from the sun's perspective. I am going to break things down into 3 decans because everything in astrology, or primarily, is done by angles, right? It's all the comparison, the relationship of one planet to another or one planetary body to another by angles. So I am going to go over all the major planetary aspects and transits that are happening this week, especially that pertain to or are in relation to your natal suns. I'm going to break the natal sun groups down into 3 groups of 10 called decans. So if your natal sun is between 0 and 10 degrees, you are Leo 1. If your natal sun is between 10 and 20 degrees, you are Leo 2. And if your natal suns are between 20 and 30 degrees, you are Leo 3. Basically, because if you're born at the end of Leo season and you're born compared to the beginning of Leo season, you got 30 degrees difference and you are not experiencing the same aspects to other planets. You're experiencing a completely different one. I mean, it's legitimately the difference between a square and a trine, or between a sextile and a square. And those are dramatically different impacts. And so got to break it down this way to make it more specific. We're going to start, Leo. Wasn't it such a nice week last week? It was the best reading I've ever done. So definitely check out your tarot reading after this, or whenever you want. It'll be up all week. It'll be up forever, but I hope you will. We're going to start as broad as possible here and talk about what is the sun doing, because that's really going to impact you all. It's going to just sort of like color the broad strokes of whatever's going on in your life right now. Well, the sun right now is in Pisces, and in my opinion, I think the sun needed a cool dip into the ocean because it's just been under a lot of duress. And even though the beginning of this year wasn't as stressful as especially mid last year, it was tough for Leo last year. It kind of needed the tranquility of the Pisces vacuum, and that's sort of what's happening right now. And it's rather pleasant energy. The sun is very creative when it's in Pisces. It really expands and finds its sense of faith and finds its sense of power in strength, faith in yourself through faith in the higher power, and listening more closely to what inspires you. I mean, you've never heard God so clearly as when you're under the water and all the other noise is blocked out. So that's kind of what's happening. And I think it's a very lovely place for the sun, actually. The sun right now, as we begin this week, I think is about 18 degrees Pisces, which means that it is, which means that, hold on. It's quincunx to those of you who are Leo 2s, quincunx to your natal sun. So it's challenging energy. It's not as challenging as a square or an opposition, but it kind of rattle your cage by what it's asking or what it's exposing you to. So there is maybe a sense of, if not discomfort, definitely intrigue and hesitation. You're intrigued by something, but you're hesitant. You really don't know what the situation or relationship could be right now. And that's the best place to learn. I actually kind of like how quincunxes will throw you off a little bit and make you uncomfortable to make you pay attention a little bit more closely. But it won't last long because the sun is quickly going into the third decan of Pisces, which means it'll be quincunx for most of this week to those of you in your in the third decan of Leo. So that would be Leos that are definitely born on the cusp of Leo Virgo. Probably anybody who's born, like around, I guess, the 15th, or maybe 13th through the 21st or 22nd, however that worked out, like that, it's kind of around there. But especially for those of you who are born even later, more toward that Virgo cusp, this is going to be a rather interesting and surprising time for you. But it's not bad, because what your quincunx to is absolutely beautiful. As the sun drops into the third decan of Pisces, it's going to conjunct to Neptune, which is a powerful creative energy. I mean, Neptune conjunct the sun is like Mozart. I don't know if Mozart had it in his chart. I don't know Mozart's chart, but it's kind of like it's that kind of courage and power and conviction in your creativity, and being able to listen to the divine and trust the inspiration from the divine. Mozart definitely comes in later on this week when Mercury joins that conjunction, and Mercury will definitely put structure and rhythm and timing and numbering and order to that inspiration. And I'll tell you, that is just a beautiful, beautiful conjunction. And even though Leo 3s, your natal suns are quincunx to this, I think it's because it's surprising you. Maybe this is like bubbling up inside of you and you've never really been exposed to this before. Maybe you need a little bit of sort of musical therapy to help open up your heart and mind. You may just need a little bit of help with it, so go and play those tunes, because that's sort of the magic of music, and it's just a very musical combination because of the structure, because of the order, finally being able to communicate reasonably or logically the inspiration that you feel inside, even though you don't know where it's coming from. It's like definitely listening to God. So I said all week long, pretty much all week long, because Mercury moves quick. If I had to summarize this conjunction between the Sun and Neptune and Mercury, I would summarize it as compassion. Because where else does intellect meet empathy, meet faith? That's compassion. So there's such an amazing sensibility of compassion that's all around, and will definitely impact all of you Leos this week because of that beautiful conjunction. But especially Leo 3s, the quincunx is quite interesting. So it could be that you're having a hard time, like this has never happened to you before, so it takes you by surprise, or you're having a hard time being compassionate for other people. You might have a little bit of difficulty not feeling sorry for people, but sort of being challenged. Having compassion, trust, a challenge of having compassion or trusting new inspiration. But once you do, and once you give over to it, I think it's like magic happening, to be honest with you. Since this is happening in Pisces, it will surprise you because it feels like it's coming out of nowhere. It's coming out of the 12th house, which is surprise. It's an enigma. You know, it may never happen again. It's like, but trust it and write it down and pay attention to it, because this is not something you're going to want to miss. Now, for those of you who are in Leo 1s, this is what I mean by the huge divide between you. You guys are actually, especially if you're born between, say, 4 to 0 degrees Leo, in the very beginning of Leo season, your natal suns are actually trine to this beautiful conjunction. So for you guys, this is like, it's almost like compassion, harmony, and understanding. I'm reading this because I write it all down for myself. It's compassion, harmony, and understanding. Just this all of a sudden tranquility and harmony. That harmony in a very musical sense. It's like everything is harmonized and in sync, and there's such just divine inspiration that's going to come to you. Very creative and powerful energy, a beautiful time to trust your instincts and trust your inspiration, Leo 1s, because it's almost going to be for you. You're not even going to fight it. This is what the harmony is all about. This is like just absolute trust, or finding your faith, like finally finding a harmonious sensibility when it comes to your connection to the Almighty, a sense of having faith, or finding your faith and having enough faith to let God work through you by trusting the inspiration. That's going to be a very, very beautiful gift that God is giving you this week. Now, something that you will find a challenge in, Leo 1s, is that your natal suns are going to be square to the nodes. So this is interesting that this divine inspiration happens to you when your natal sun is square to the nodes, because that represents a turning point in your life, a turning point in sort of a maturation of when you're coming over that hill and accepting all of the things that I'm good at and I'm comfortable at. I take with me, I take charge of, to go and meet the challenges, or allow myself to be a little bit more challenged and head toward learning and understanding those things that maybe I'm not so comfortable with. But it's almost like this blessing that's given to you on the way this week. So what a powerful energy. I would love for you to tell me below, right below, how you're experiencing this week, because it's quite karmic, and maybe even in some ways dharmic, when you can sort of make peace with the past and use it as inspiration for the future. Now, I have not forgotten about you, Leo 2s. No, I would never, ever do that. Leo 2s, your birthdays are probably, because it depends on the year, but somewhere between the 11th and, somewhere between the 1st of August or the 2nd of August and the 10th or 11th of August. So your natal suns would be between 10 and 20 degrees Leo. Your natal suns are going to be squaring to Uranus. Now that's been like that for a while. I mean, it's not, this should be nothing new to you. So running into surprises and being challenged by surprises. And at this point, if you haven't just sort of thrown your hands in the air and say, I'm just like toss your expectations out the window when you're in a square to Uranus. Because if the more you expect, Uranus just likes to go against it. It likes to surprise you. It likes to shock you. So just let expectations go out, just throw them out. Just let them go, because honestly, Leo, it's just better that way. And roll with the punches. Expect the unexpected. You will be thrown curveballs, and it will challenge you and your mind, especially because Uranus loves to challenge your mind and how you think about things. So what it's really trying to teach you guys for the next, I don't think it'll be in Leo. I don't think it'll be in Leo 2 to the end of this year, to be honest with you. So Leo 3, to the end of this year. So it's trying to challenge you to just roll with the punches and learn how to hit those curveballs and think with your brain, like use your brain in a different way. Like intellect and logic, it's going to make you very mentally capable, maybe agile. Mental agility is basically what it's working on with you, and to help you get out of any stuck mindsets that you're in, and make you learn. And this is actually a great time for higher learning for you guys, even if it doesn't mean getting an advanced degree. It's just challenging yourself with maybe something you never expected to be interested in. And then we have, for you guys, Leo 2s, also a trine to what's going on in Aries. Now, what's going on in Aries is what's been going on in Aries. We got to talk a little bit about Venus as well, because that's a transit that'll affect all of us. But what's going on in Aries is that Jupiter is conjunct Chiron, and it's been that way. It's just now, however, that Jupiter is passing over Chiron, and this week Jupiter will sort of take over Chiron. It'll be at the higher degrees. So it's almost like, in some ways, the challenges that you guys have been facing, and maybe the pain and suffering that you have been learning and growing from, is now turning the tide, and you're really going to start to feel the benefit of reaping the rewards of not giving up, Leo 2s. If there has been any pain and suffering since this is happening in Aries, especially pain and suffering in your body, in your head region, or even just your whole body, because really Aries is about taking care of your whole body, you should be finding a way to pacify them, or to start feeling better at this point. Like, you should be turning that tide to sort of just feeling better, being more at ease with it. Now, Venus is currently in Aries, but she is about to transit into her domicile, that's redundant, her domicile of Taurus. So that will happen on Thursday the 16th. So especially for those of you who are Leo 1s, right? No. No, Leo threes. It's you. It's Leo threes. Because you're the ones, your natal suns are the ones forming the trine to the end of Aries. And she's at the end of Aries. But at the very, so she will be most of this week. On Thursday, she'll transit into Taurus, but she'll still be at 0 degrees Taurus. So you guys, especially those of you born at the very, very end of Leo season, will be in a trine to Venus. You'll be in a trine to Venus. So what does that mean? I mean, are you kidding me? It's beautiful. Your natal suns are currently trine to Venus. They're happy. They're abundant. There's optimism. There's beauty. There could also be lackadaisical, not watching your pocketbook and spending too much and being so hyped up with La Vie en Rose that you don't watch your bank book. So watch that very carefully. That's the only thing I have to say. There's just going to be a little like lackadaisical peacefulness when it comes to being loved and how you love and who loves you, and maybe even allowing yourself to be loved and appreciated and valued. You could be, when your natal sun is trine to Venus, a little bit too optimistic when it comes to some people. It's a very loving time for you. I'm just saying, like, take things one step at a time, even though it may be a little bit challenging to do that, because there just seems to be such peace in the air when it comes to dealing with all things Venus. So I love you guys so much, and I do hope you'll join me for your tarot card reading. Please remember to subscribe to this channel, because there's a new Leo video every single week. I'll go through and pick apart the week for you and tell you how it's going to impact you. And ring that notification bell so you know when I upload your favorite content. Leo comes out every Friday. It's the same schedule as Born Without Boundaries Tarot, and I hope to see you guys back here every single week. Bye, Leo.